Christmas party near you soon, as it turns out. I feel.
Yeah,
they all just went in the diary.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just maybe.
Yeah. Awesome. Have a great webinar.
Yeah.
Thanks.
See ya.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Jake.
Oh, thanks.
No problem.
Awesome. Bye. Seagull out.
So I'll start admitting people. Are we ready to go? Let's go. They're all coming in.
Hi, everybody. Just letting everyone in. Excellent.
Yeah, okay. If I don't have it on file, I might have to get you.
If we can have cameras on would be wonderful, so we can see all your smiling faces. Nurse next door, pretty in pink. Thank you. Yeah, everyone's just coming on now. Just we'll wait another 30 seconds to get everybody on.
Check the lobby. I've got one that's set up coming through. Michael Royal. I got them in. It's in there admitting, but not coming.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's get started. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming along today for our Lunch and Learn. Again, these monthly and also fortnightly, some of them are coming up. Webinars are just growing in momentum, and we're so excited that everyone's learning lots and getting a lot out of them. So thank you from all of us here at the Franchise Council. So today our webinar is all about data-driven retargeting for franchises and harnessing local audiences for maximum impact, and it's brought to us by Content Monarchy. But our host is Renee Dembowski. She's the founder of Social Butterfly Marketing and the creator of Content Monarchy. And it's a SaaS platform that revolutionises social media content creation for franchised and multi-location businesses, which is all of us. She has a diploma in social media marketing and was one of the first that was awarded in Australia for that diploma. And a little bit about Content Monarchy is they actually empower businesses to produce consistent brand-aligned content with ease. That's sort of the main point there. And some of you on here that went to NFC this year in May in Cairns, because that's where Renee is from, would remember Renee for her fashions on the field with Grayson that works with her as well. And so there was a Cairns Racing Carnival and they won the virtual Fashions on the Field initiative as well. So I think doing lots of things in that area. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Renee.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, we actually took the Mad Hatters theme literally and wore Mad Hats to the NFC, which was quite funny. So I'm just going to share my screen with everybody. Can I confirm everyone can see that one?
Yep.
Yep, excellent. So thank you so much, as I said, for having me today. This is a pretty big topic and it can be quite technical. So in order to make sure that everyone from beginner to advanced gets something out of this, I'm going to try and just keep it high level and give you some tools so that after this session, you can go and do some research on your own businesses as well as your competitors, and hopefully use that information to better retarget at a local level. And yeah, so let's get started. Helen's already covered this, so this is just some of our achievements, and if you want to know more about it, I'm happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. So what is retargeting? So it is a strategy that reconnects users online who have previously connected with or shown an interest in your brand online. And actually not just online, but it can also be through your database. So this is particularly powerful for franchised businesses that need to reach a local audience in a personalised way. So I do see with a lot of franchises, content is being created or ads are being pushed out at a national level, which is obviously necessary. However, it doesn't really resonate with the local audience. And I do feel like there's a huge missed opportunity for that. So it's the local audience that we really want to bring into the bricks and mortar business, or, you know, that example, Nurse Next Door, we want to know what Zoe from Cairns is doing, not what someone at the national level is doing, because I can imagine sometimes you might get people contact you asking for Zoe, but there's someone from Mackay. So imagine if you could have a real person from that location who is building that connection with your local audience. And this can help you with that. So the benefits of retargeting for franchises are, of course, an increased local engagement, higher conversion rates, because it is people who have already shown an interest in your business or brand. We know that we would consider those guys a warm contact. And it also helps you to optimize your marketing spend. So rather than advertising to people who are irrelevant, and that's chewing into your budget, you're able to really niche down and retarget people who are a relevant audience for that local level business. And it also gives you an enhanced customer experience. So as with the example of Zoe from Cairns, Nurse Next Door, it helps your potential clients build trust and loyalty with your brand and with the people who they will be doing business with. Now, one of the biggest problems I do see, I'm going to focus on Meta because most of us work with Meta, at least, Meta and Google. So whatever I talk to you about with Meta, it also does apply to Google and to all other social platforms. Meta is probably one of the most complex and most difficult to get your head around with regards to the structure. So I really wanted to talk about the importance of ensuring that everything is set up correctly, especially in the franchise or multi-location space. Having it set up properly, we'll talk about the benefits of that and also the implications of not being set up properly as a franchise. And I know that security is really important with franchises. So if you're confused about the structure, you're not the only one. It is a lot to get your head around. So every single person who works within Facebook in the business sense really needs to have a personal profile. I often see businesses who create dummy profiles for the purpose of multiple staff members signing in to access the business assets. And this is very risky. And eventually you will probably get hacked. There will be some sort of a mishap there. And I get about 5 people come to me every week who have been hacked due to having dummy profiles set up. You've got your groups, of course. Groups are great for that local community. However, the downside to groups is that the data is quite limited and you can't create ads. You've got your business page. Your business page you can access in multiple ways. However, I'm going to show you the best practice way to access business pages. And you've got your business manager. So this is what I consider, or I visualize as, a suitcase that holds all of your Meta assets securely in one place. And so this is really important to have set up properly. It adds an additional layer of security between your business assets and the individual, because you can set it up so that anyone who works within your business, because they must access it from their personal profile, that they have always got 2-factor authentication enabled. If they don't, it'll be no-go zone. They can't physically get into your business assets. And it's incredible how many people still don't have their 2-factor set up. And then you've got your business suite and creator studio. We won't be touching on that, but it's just here for the purpose of the structure explanation, where you create the content. So it's the creator's dashboard, and it's often confused with the Meta Business Manager. So this is just a visual of how the structure is. So your personal profile is always used, your legitimate personal profile is always used to access your business manager, ad accounts, business pages, and groups. So with your personal profile, it's incredibly important to ensure that your name is the same as what's on your official identification, so passports and driver's licenses. The reason being is that Facebook will gradually ask you to verify your identity, and if that does not match your actual ID, you will get restricted, and it's very difficult to get unrestricted. And I have seen so many businesses lose access to all of their business assets because they can't get in through their personal profile. And also, if Meta picks up that you've got a legitimate personal profile and a dummy personal profile, they can restrict both. So just be really careful with that. The most secure way is your legitimate personal profile. So set up requirements for franchises. So this is my suggested setup. It's important to have your Meta Business Manager. Inside this Meta Business Manager, the suitcase, you should always have your domain authentication set up. Now, franchises will have the brand domain and they'll often have other domains. So you can get the additional domains verified as well. You've got your Meta Pixel or data set. Now, this is a piece of code that we create within the business portal and we install on your website. This allows us to capture any website activity and create audiences out of that data. We'll go into that in more detail soon. But through this, we're then able to retarget those guys through ads on Meta. So that's Facebook, Instagram, but also third-party platforms like non-MSN News. It's important to install the Pixel on your website. And the way I would recommend franchises structure this is that they create what's called a line of business. So that means that the brand has control at a higher level and every location has its own line of business. And within that line of business, they've got their own ad account, which is connected to their own local level pixel. So you don't run the risk of locations accessing your whole website's data. It's only their specific landing page data. And it also has your ad accounts all bundled into one. So you can add someone who's located at your Brisbane location. They can have access to just the Brisbane location assets. Then it's important to set up your conversion API. So conversion API is important because if you don't have this set up, you're not able to accurately capture all of the data of people who visited your website. You'll only get a small portion of the people because conversion API ensures that you can people with iOS, I'm not sure what it's up to now, I think it's 14.5. After that, you can still capture their data. Whereas if you don't have it, anyone after 14.5, you can't capture their data. So this is where it's probably a little bit technical, and I can always explain this in more detail for anyone who wants to catch up. And one of the most important setup things is the event tracking. And so this is where we tell Meta what events, an event is not a party, an event is an action on your website. What events are the most important events for us to track? So as an example, let's use a e-commerce business. We might say, we've been running ads, attending networking events, putting all of this money and effort into driving traffic to our website. So we can actually say to Facebook now, find anyone who's been on my website in the last 180 days, has added an item to their cart, but not made the purchase. And then we can actually customize an ad to that audience and say, did you forget something? And I'm sure you've all seen this ad. Don't forget to buy, need help deciding, here's 20% off. That's just an example of how you can use that. So your Pixel installation can be quite technical. And if you have ever thought, I'm running ads, but they're not working, I do see pretty much 99.9% of businesses online have not got this set up properly. And it's a little bit of a technical space. So it's not every social media marketer that knows how to do this. Also, not every web developer knows how to do it because it's sort of in the middle. So social media marketers don't often have the technical skills to do the coding that's required, and web developers, snub their nose at Facebook, so they don't usually want to play in that space. So it's sort of like a bit of the meat in the sandwich, a little bit of an area that you need a special skill for. So depending on your website platform, you might need to access code to do this, or some platforms such as WordPress, which I really do like because it's very easy to work with. There are plugins available that do make it a lot easier, especially for franchises when you've got multi-locations that you're setting up individual landing page pixels or data sets. So lines of business do matter. So this is where you organize your assets. It improves control and security because, like I said, only that location has access to their assets and not the brand. It simplifies reporting and tracking because you're able to see the high level data and the locations are able to see their location relevant data. Tailored campaign management, ensuring that your franchisees are able to create and run their own ads using their own ad account, and it doesn't impact the franchisor. There can be a risk of competing for ad spend, so it's important to really think this through and strategize before you do allow the franchisees to run ads. It's definitely still doable, but it just requires some thought and some guidelines for the franchisees to follow. So that's something to consider there. And it also allows you to streamline collaboration with partners and agencies. So you're able to add agencies to your business portal and give the agencies access to different assets or lines of business. Setup implications are, if you don't set this up correctly, there can be loss of control. And I know that is why a lot of franchises are concerned about, relinquishing control of digital assets to the franchisees. It can impact the sale of your business. So I have seen a case where a business has been using their personal ad account to run ads for their location. And when it came time to sell the business, they had to adjust the sale price because they had promised handover of all of their digital assets, including their ad data, so that the purchaser could retarget previous connections. And unfortunately, they'd used their personal ad account but renamed it to their business name. So they then thought it was a business ad account. It wasn't. It's functionality-wise, it's still a personal ad account and you cannot physically detach that from you as a person. Whereas if it's set up properly, it's a very simple process to hand over control of a business ad account. And of course, security, which I mentioned earlier, ensuring that you've got your two-factor authentication set up. So here is an example. I'm skipping through fast only because I know we've got limited time and I really want to show you an example. This is what Events Manager looks like. So earlier I said an event is at a party. It's an action that happens on your website. That's important that you decide what's important to track and you set that up in here and within your website. So in this example, we can see over the last 28 days, we've had website activity of 231,000 people. Of those 231,000 people, we had 18,000 people add an item to their cart. Of those, we had 1.8 thousand people in 28 days make a purchase, and we've had 836 people submit an inquiry form, and 376 make a subscription purchase. So this particular business had a subscription purchase model, and they also had a shop. So the purchase all up includes shop and subscription, whereas the subscription purchase includes just a subscription. So that means that anyone within these audiences here or these events, we're able to then use that information and retarget those who added to a cart but did not make a purchase. So that means that we have 18,000 people who are potentially interested in our product, enough that they've added something to their cart, and only 1.8 have made a purchase. That's a huge number of people that we could convince to buy through whatever strategy we come up with. All right. And this one here is that was a brand. That's the brand. And then we've got the location level. So the location might have different events depending on what they're offering in store. So in this case, they have people can make a booking. So they can't purchase a subscription or from the shop. It's classes at that physical location. So they've had 3.8 thousand people visit their landing page in the last 28 days. And of those, there's been 362 people book a class. So now what they can do is they can retarget anyone who's visited the website but not made a booking and see if we can convince them to actually book in for a class. And that is then a pixel for the location. So the location can run its own ads, use its own budget to re-engage customers at that local level. Something that I thought would be really helpful for everyone to install on their computer is called Chrome Extension. This allows you to have a look at your website and any of your competitors' websites to see, do they have a pixel installed? If not, if they do, or if you do, what events are you actually tracking? If you're not tracking events, I would highly recommend you set it up ASAP, as well as installing your Metapixel, because if you decide that you want to start advertising next week or next month, and you're like, I better get this pixel in, well, you start tracking data from that day that you put it in. So you really probably need to leave at least 6 months worth of historical data to get a good sample of data to be able to use that in your ads. So even if you've got no intention of running ads for a year, I would still put that pixel in now so that you can really start tracking that and you're ready to go when you decide to run ads. So with that, I will actually provide that in an email so that you guys can just download it if you like directly, but only works with Chrome. So audiences that we can retarget are that we can target, I should say. So there's saved, that's a cold audience. That's essentially our buyer persona. We think John is 45 years old, he's got interests in small business, and it's a male. So that's where it's sort of a guessing game. Then you've got custom. So custom audiences are people who have engaged in your business one way or another. You are able to actually upload your database of your actual customers, make sure that it's segmented because you want to make sure it's the right type of audience you're uploading. And you can say to Meta, find these people on Facebook. It might find, be able to match 50% of your database to users on Facebook. Once it's created that audience, you can then create a lookalike. Now find people who look like these people who are my current customer in Australia or the US. So then you can it's like a snowball effect. That then is another cold audience. However, instead of guessing what these people look like and hoping for the best, Facebook has matched them based on their interests, their demographics, the pages that they follow. So I do find you get a much better result through your lookalike rather than your saved. Here's an example of a plumber overseas. I wanted to choose someone overseas just so I didn't throw anyone under the bus. They, up the top right, I've installed a Metapixel helper. They do not have a pixel installed. So these guys here are spending money, putting effort into their advertising and their networking, and they are unfortunately missing a huge opportunity and not capturing the data of people who are actually checking out their website. On the other hand, we've got these guys, and this is the brand. You can see here they've got a pixel installed, so they're capturing brand level data, pixel ending in 430, and their locations have got a second pixel installed. So the brand is still able to capture the data from all locations plus the brand, so the whole website, whereas the location through their line of business is only given access to their individual pixel, which is the pixel ending in 537. So any of the marketing efforts that they make in Wagga Wagga, as an example, they don't miss that opportunity at a local level. They are able to use that pixel and run ads at that local level using their own ad account, using their own budget. So one of my favorite examples are ABI Interiors. So ABI Interiors are not a franchise. I don't believe they're a franchise actually, but I'm going to be using the e-commerce website. They do marketing extremely well. So in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to pump through this to show you an example of how it works. The reason I know is because I purchased all ABI products for my renovation purely because of the advertising. There were cheaper products out there that were just as good, but they were in my face all the time. So let's have a look at ABI. I'm just going to go over to Facebook. This is something you can all do for you or any of your competitors. So if I go to ABI Interiors website, I can see that they have a pixel installed in a minute. I know they do. Here we go. So what are they tracking? Let's have a look. So we'll go into their maybe shop fixtures, and we'll go into a product, and we'll go into their tapware, and we'll go into their, so I've just come over here. I've heard about ABI. I'm like, oh, this looks pretty nice. So I do want brass. So I'll check that product there out. And based on that journey that I've taken, I've now been put into one of their audiences, which is viewing a particular piece of content. So then I go add it to my cart. Next minute, the kids start screaming and I'm like, guys, stop fighting, leave my computer, shut it down, completely forget that I've added that to my cart. But ABI hasn't, because they've added me to their audience of add to cart. So if I did continue, if I go back onto Facebook, probably in a couple of hours, I'll start seeing ads from ABI, sometimes as customized as that particular piece of brass tapware. So it will also follow the whole journey of when I go to my cart, it'll go through initiate checkout. They will put me into that audience. If I make a purchase, they'll put me into that audience. If I do make a purchase, they know that I'm a customer who's highly likely to purchase from them again. So they might try and re-engage me for their other matching brass products. So in here, we'll just go checkout, and then you'll see this will change. So that's just a really brief example of how that works. So initiate checkout. So I'm now in that audience. However, this is one of the handiest things that you can use, and I use this on a daily basis. So if you find a competitor and you want to know what they're up to, you can go to their Facebook page. And from here, you can go into page, and it tells you this page is currently running ads. So go to the ad library and you will see they're currently running 860 ads. So it will show you the ads that they are running. These will be to multiple placements, and it tells you what their blurb says, what the product is, what the call to action is. It will redirect you back to that, so you can take a look at the landing page that they're sending you to. And that's a really great research tool for anyone who wants to know what their competitors are doing, benchmarking your own marketing efforts. Some of these guys have massive budgets. So my thoughts are, why not tap into the marketing teams at some of these large organizations within your industry? You can obviously have a look at people, how they're doing it overseas. Maybe the US is a bit ahead of us with regards to their marketing. So maybe have a look at some US companies, because you don't want to be doing the same as your competitors within Australia necessarily. So that's something that I would recommend you guys do to help pave the way with your marketing strategies, your retargeting strategies. So where I find a lot of the franchises are lacking is having a pixel installed to begin with, then having a second pixel installed for the locations, and of course the event tracking, because that's where you're able to really niche down and tap into a warm or hot audience. So I do have a bit of a case study here. If anyone wants to have a look at it, I'll send it through. But this particular client had a brand and the locations. The key metrics that we were measuring and the results we got were we had 39 million impressions, 45,000 purchases, $46 was the target per purchase, and our actual cost was $17 per purchase. That took a bit of time to get there because Facebook or Meta needs to learn, and as time goes on, it learns and it reduces the cost per acquisition. However, it's certainly worth it in the long run, because now the average over that time is $17 per purchase. So just to wrap it up, I know every franchise is very unique and everyone's got their own policies on how they, I guess, the freedom that they do give the franchisees. But I do think that with proper setup, it's easy to maintain control, reduce risk, and also allow local level businesses to have maximum impact with their potential customers who don't already know about them. Thanks. 1 minute early.
Yeah, well done. Wonderful. That's great. Oh, well, how much did we learn then? That was full on. But Nina, early in the piece, did actually ask a question. Nina from Nurse Next Door. She said, we haven't been able to run retargeting through Google because we're a healthcare brand targeting vulnerable people, like as in NDIS. Does that also apply for Meta?
It can. So that's something have you guys tried to do it through Meta yet?
You can unmute, Nina.
We haven't necessarily tried. I think we have pre-me, and I was told that this can't be done because we are heavily restricted being a home care provider, and I've been trying to find a way to sort of go around that.
Yeah.
for quite a while now.
So with your meta, you've obviously got your the categories for things like health, finance, etc. So when you do, you can run the ads, but you need to make sure it's super important that you tick that yes, we fall within this category. It will reduce your reach and yeah, it will significantly. And also the features that you can use within Meta for the ads. So obviously it's such a massive platform. You've got lots of different things that you can do within there. It will actually, it's exactly like, not exactly like finance, but like finance in that it will significantly impact the results from your ads, but you don't really have another choice. It's still better than, I think, nothing, but I think go in, check the health provider category and have a look to see, because you can do that and see what you are able to do before you actually press spend. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's okay.
Thanks. If you can stop sharing for a sec,
sorry.
Renee. Yeah, that's all right. What other questions do we have of Renee? Either take yourself off mute and ask the question, or you can type it in. If it's quicker to just take yourself off mute and ask the question.
I don't think.
Today's a bit quiet. Would anyone like to have their business looked at live on this now?
I'm happy to do a live check for anyone through the Meta Pixel and see what events you're tracking.
Who'd like to put their hand up? Who's on there? Do I have to pick?
No one wants to.
Everybody's game.
Oh, Nina, did you want us to have a look at Nurse Next Door and see?
Yeah, we can do that. Let me. How do you screen share on because we only use Google Chrome.
I can do it for you.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, Renee will do it. Okay, this is good.
Yeah, cool. So we'll have a look at Nurse Next Door. First, we'll check out, we know that there's been some problems with the advertising for Nurse Next Door, but let's just go through the process to see if they have been running ads. So this page is currently running ads. And we can have a look.
Sorry, I was just going to say, because what we've done is we're running ads nationally, and instead of retargeting, we're now running awareness ads in one of our franchise partner locations as well, just to see, while it's not retargeting, we're doing location-based targeting instead, because that was the only workaround that we could think of. So just something to be aware of.
Yeah, definitely. No worries. So we can see they're running some ads here. We're able to have a look at each of those in more detail and understand what the call to action is, what the blurb is. We can also see what platforms they are running these on. So they're running on Facebook and Instagram, not on the Audience Network. So Audience Network is your third-party platforms like 9MSN News and stuff like that. So that's their ads. Then we'll go over to the actual website and check out what they've got happening here. Okay, we know they've got a pixel installed. It ends in 410. Let's see if they're tracking any events. So I imagine an important event might be a phone call. So anyone who clicks on the phone call but doesn't actually book, we could retarget those people, understanding that it might be a bit tricky with this industry, but that's something that would still be worth tracking, because with Meta, things change all the time as well. So whilst you might not be able to do that today, you may be able to do it in a year's time, and it's good to have that data there. The other thing that's good to track is when you actually look at that, where is it? This gives you a good understanding as well, because when you set up your events, you're able to see the data in here. So I would just do it for that purpose. So that hasn't got a pixel, an event being tracked. Perhaps ask for care. So that would be something, the button click would be really important. So you could track anyone who's asked for care, however, not submitted the form. I'll go through this process just so you know this is me doing a test. Let's just go. This is a test. They're going to be like, what?
Yeah, I was going to say our care services team is going to be like, what's this? I'll let them know.
What is this? Let them know, yeah. So now, if this is tracking this event, which I would say is the most important event because it's the highest, one of the highest levels of the funnel, we should see this go to a number 2 and either say a lead or something to that effect. And no, it hasn't done that. So that's another event that I would say would be really important to track. We're also able to have a look at anyone who goes on the home care packages. So you might want to track specific products and services so that when you run ads, you might want to retarget anyone who's been on the happier, sorry, the home care packages specifically. So then you can actually retarget those people with assets that are relevant to the home care packages, language that's relevant to the home care packages, because that will be quite different to the NDIS disability support language and assets. So that means it really resonates more with those people, and you can even start using things like your local area, you know, mentioning Cairns or mentioning Brisbane or whichever region that you're targeting, ensuring that the assets match that region that you're delivering the ads to. So that's an example. And also let's have a look at the locations and see if the individual locations have their pixels installed. So we'll go into Cairns. Can we go into that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So in here, ideally, it would be great if you could, I'm not quite sure if you can, just depending on, you're on a WordPress site. This here would be fantastic if Zoe had her own pixel. You guys might not be ready for people, for individual locations to do this yet, but it'd be good for them to have that there ready to go if in case you decide, you know what, let's test out a region. Let's give them their own ad account, their own pixel so that they can run their own local level ads if they wish. And that way it's not going to impact or put any of your national level marketing or assets at risk.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I had one question though. With running local ads,
yeah,
instead of giving the power to the franchise partners, having
Yeah.
us run it in our ad account,
Yeah.
is that possible as well? It's still localized, the content will be localized, but then they just don't have to worry about that. We can take care of that. Is that something that franchises have done in the past?
Yes, so that's possible as well. So another way you could do it is, let's say you even set up a line of business per location, so pixel, ad account, etc. They connect their payment detail, like it depends on who's paying. So if you guys are paying, of course, that's an easy way to do it. If the location is paying, then they can have their own line of business attached to their account information. And then you guys could then essentially run those ads from their ad account, their card, etc. But you maintain that control.
Excellent.
As an
Awesome.
option. Yeah.
Awesome. That was great. We've got a few minutes. Is there another brand on? Like I know Horror Hubby's on, KX, Pilates, Couriers Please. They're just the ones that I can see on the screen. Would anyone else like to do a quick look on your website? Selena, you've said thank you on the chat, which is great, and that you're going to pass it on. Do we want to look at KX's website quickly? Oh, she go.
Yep, we missed it.
I think someone else from KX is on though. No, Horror Hubby. Is it Patrick? Are you from Horror Hubby? I couldn't see him looking.
I am from Horror Hubby, but I'm not given the go ahead. Janet from marketing, I don't know, but we're a little different to you guys. We're not necessarily selling products like a lot of the things that you're doing, but anyway, no, we're good for the moment. Thanks.
This is
Janet
product.
from Hire Hubby. Sorry, Patrick, we already have the pixel installed. I can run you through a few things that Renee spoke about. But yeah, we've only been capturing data for about 2 months now. I did speak to someone from Meta to get the Pixel installed, but there may be a few other little tasks we can do as a result of listening to Renee today and just test things. So yeah, Renee, I might contact you at some point. Thank you.
Absolutely. For anyone who's
Yeah, thanks, Janet.
Thanks for
Anyone who's-
rescuing me there, Janet.
Sorry, Patrick.
we do offer a obligation-free consult for anyone who just wants to sit down, have a chat. We can do a little audit for you, just face-to-face, or over Zoom, I should say. No pressure. I'm happy to have a look around and give you some recommendations based on what we can have a look at. Yeah.
So cool.
Excellent, great.
Thank you so much.
Any other quick questions? Nina, yep.
Nina's happy to chat. Yep.
All right. Well, I think,
I've learned.
well, we're all sort of probably just processing how many things Renee just went through then. And are we doing them all? So hang on, what's...
Oh, it's a note taker.
Note
Sorry.
taker. Okay, all good. All right. So thank you so much, Renee. Appreciate your time today. So our next webinar is coming up on the 12th of November. And that is hosted by Indeed, one of our platinum partners. And this is going to cover how franchises can hire talent faster and more cost efficiently. So another important one to pop in your diaries. I'll send the invite to you all that you're on now. I'll also send a recording of today to everyone, and I'll get from Renee some, her contact details and how to get in contact with her the easiest way. So thank you today, Renee, and I can see Grayson on as well.
Yep.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for your fashion at conference too.
Anytime.
That's cute.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.